wasn't with you all at the last council meeting. I was in DC at the National League of Cities, and we learned a lot about the grants that are out there, how to be able to bring some of that bacon or some of that pork back home to the city of Irondale. So one of the things that I do want to work on that I learned here, I know at one time we were talking about making the intersection there by the railroad a quiet zone. There's actually some funding out there, not for the quiet zone, but to provide the safety that is needed to apply for the quiet zone. The last time it was about $600,000 that we needed for the guardrails. They mentioned that there are allocations out there that you can get for a project up to $1 million. I had an opportunity to talk to one of the counselors in Birmingham, because Birmingham is having the same issue, but it's on the same line. So we're trying to see if we can combine our project with their project to be considered, to be able to get the money to be able to put the safety rails in. And once the safety rails are put in, then it allows us to be able to apply for the quiet zone. So we'll just tell everybody, stay tuned, hold on, and hopefully we will be able to work that through. I was going to do the proclamations first, but since I started running my mouth, I guess I'll go ahead and do my report first, and then I'll come back and I'll do the proclamations. I want to thank everybody that came out to vote on March the 22nd. I would say that a message was sent to the community that people believe in what this administration is doing. 1,043 people voted yes, 352 people voted no, which means that 3 out of 4 people voted in favor of building a brighter future in the city of Irondale. And we're really looking forward to doing that. And we will not start collecting the money until 2023. I wish we could start in October 22, but since we gave our word that we would start until 23, we'll wait to 23 to be able to do that. Also, I've already talked about the National League of Cities and having an opportunity to identify transportation dollars that are out there. There are dollars for rails, trails, culverts, bridges, as well as for roads. So we're also looking, we have a bridge project that we're doing right now, and we're also going to look to see how can we use some of it. We may be able to tap into that funding to be able to help with that bridge project. Also, I want to thank the second class that went through the Citizen Engagement Institute. So if you're out there and you went through the Institute, would you please stand up? I see Mr. Lewis hitting Ms. Lewis because she ain't want to stand up out there. Well, we had 14 individuals to go through the Institute. We had 5 wonderful weeks where they heard all of from fire to police to courts I think they enjoyed the budget game the most. We gave them $28 million and allowed them to be able to allocate it over 14 departments. They had a chance to be able to see what we fight with on a regular basis. But I believe that they are now more informed citizens, and they will be able to help to correct incorrect information when they see it. But I just want to thank them for taking out those 5 weeks. I didn't mention the 6th week because they graduated on the 6th week, and we also got a chance to be able to have a banquet. Actually, they told me that really the food was the best part of the event because we fed them every night that we met. And the night that we had sliders, usually we have food left over, but mysteriously on that night when I got ready to get something to take home, everything was already gone. So I just want to thank you all for committing to those 6 weeks. We're going to have our 3rd annual class starting in September. Registration should go out in August, so please look forward to being a part of the next class. And thank you all so much. Now I'm just going to go through the calendar. I'm not going to cover all of the things in the calendar, but let's see. We had a cleanup on Grants Mill Road Saturday, Church of the Highlands, and I was there from the city. One of the things that I learned during this cleanup, what is the drink of choice in the city of Irondale?
and it's Bud Light. Because I picked up so many Bud Light cans for a half a mile. I said, I guess, and the lady that was working with me, she's like, Mayor, this curve is so dangerous. Can you believe people are drinking so much? I said, yes, I'm glad I don't travel this road a lot. But people who travel Grants Mill Road really love to drink Bud Light. Also, we were going to have our Moon River canoe launching, but it was postponed today because of weather. If you'd like to be a part of that, we're going to have it the first Tuesday in May. It's going to be at 7:30, but if you just want to come to be able to get on TV, you can show up at 7:50, and we'll be on Fox 6 with J.J. Pruitt, and that'll be broadcasted for that. Also, we're going to have Saturday is the household hazardous waste drop-off. That will be at Classic Cars Motoring. So anything that you have that is hazardous that we don't pick up in the trash, you can go there. I would say get there early because the line will probably be up towards Old Leeds Road. Also, we're going to have an Easter egg experience on Sunday. So if you're a big kid and you want to come, little kids as well, but we're going to do that in Beacon Park, and that's going to be from 2:30 to 4:30. Then on Saturday the 16th, we're having the first City of Irondale Young Entrepreneurs Day, and that's going to be at Shades Valley High School. It's going to be from 1 to 4 in the gymnasium. The public is invited, and this whole event is to encourage kids to be able to use their God-given gift to be able to develop a business, to promote their business, but also to be able to sell their wares. We're encouraging everybody in this room, make sure you come, bring some money with you, and buy something from the kids to encourage them to keep moving forward. And also, we will start the Trash Amnesty Day. We're starting with District 3 this time. So from the 11th through the 14th, we're having where you can put out all the stuff that you wanted to put out, but we didn't pick it up, or we wouldn't pick it up, you can put it out during that time. But we're starting with District 3, and then we're going to work our way from District 3, District 4, District 5, District 1, and then we're going to end with District 2. And the last thing, I promise I'm not a Baptist pastor trying to close out on a sermon, but we're going to have the second annual Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. That's going to be at Church of the Highlands. That's going to be on May the 5th. Tickets are now available if you go to IrondaleCommunityFoundation.com. So if you'd like to be a part, participate in that, J.J. Pruitt is going to be our speaker, but we're looking forward to having a tremendous crowd to be able to do that as well. Now I can get to the proclamations. I promise you all, don't let me go out of town again, so then I won't have a long report to be able to give. But I have 4 proclamations that I want to give, and I'm going to start out with the first one. Is Miss Mary Beth Thomas, if you would come forward from the Prescott House. I believe when the city gives money to organizations that we should go to those organizations and have a chance to be able to walk through and to see exactly where the funding is going. Last year I had an opportunity to go to the Prescott House. They actually work with our police department. So whenever there's any children issues with our police department, they're the ones who actually do the interviewing for that, and they know how to work through the process. So I got a chance to be able to meet my new friend over there, Ms. Mary Beth Thomas, and this month is Child Abuse Prevention Month. So we're going to present her with a proclamation, and I'm going to go ahead and read it. Whereas all children have a right to grow up in a safe, stable, and nurturing homes and live in communities that foster healthy growth and development, and whereas child abuse and neglect is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone. And whereas preventing child abuse and neglect is a community responsibility that affects both the current and future quality of life in a community, In 2021, there were 26,514 reported cases of child abuse and neglect in the state of Alabama. And whereas the Prescott House Child Advocacy Center serves the Irondale community, and whereas our children are our most valuable assets in providing positive growth and therefore an exceptional future that will forever shape our city, and whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the meaningful connections and the partnerships created between child advocacy centers, child welfare, education, healthcare, community, and faith-based organizations, law enforcement agencies, and civil authorities. And whereas the communities that provide parents with a social support, knowledge of parenting and child development, and concrete resources they need to cope with stress and nurture their children, help to ensure that all children grow to their full potential. Now, therefore, I, that's me, Mayor James Douglas Stewart Jr., by the virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Irondale, do hereby proclaim April 2022 as Child Abuse Prevention Month and recognize Prescott House Child Advocacy Center as the agency that served child victims of abuse and witness to violence in the city of Irondale. And I encourage our citizens to work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to the social and emotional well-being of children and families in safe, stable, nurturing environments. In witness whereof, I have signed and sealed on the 5th day of April 2022.
Thank you so much.
Let me take that off. Okay, Mary Beth,
Thank
you
you
want to
so
say
much.
something?
Well, I just want to thank the Mayor Stewart and the City Council for the support that they have given Prescott House Child Advocacy Center. We actually had Detective Flippo at our center today. And what we do is a service that is much needed. And when a child experiences abuse, instead of going to the police station and the Department of Human Resources and the DA's office to tell their story over and over again, they get to come to our center, which is an historic home. It's very warm and welcoming, and they can tell that story, often an indescribable story, to one trained counselor, while those investigators who need to hear what happened watch on closed circuit TV. And then we provide them with ongoing counseling. And I want to end with a poem that a little boy shared with us, because this is our goal for what we do. It brings tears to my eyes when I think about it, but the poem said, "I am somebody. I deserve to do my best. I do not have to settle for average. There's no shortcut to greatness. There is a plan for my life to have a future and a hope." And that's what we want to restore in those children, so that what has happened to them does not become their identity. And I just thank you as citizens of the Irondale community and the City Council and Mayor Stewart for the impact that you're having in those lives. Thank you.
All right. The city of Irondale happens to be blessed to have some great teachers. Although we do not have our own school system, we are very supportive of the teachers in the Jefferson County school system. This year, we had 3 teachers out of 10 that was selected for Teacher of the Year. And we had 1 teacher to actually win the award. We believe in giving you your roses while you're alive. And we also have a $2,500 grant for you at the same time. So we don't just want to give you this paper, we also want to give you some money as well. I'm going to go ahead and read this one proclamation that would count for all 3 of the proclamations, but I want to save our winner for last. And this is the proclamation that we have. And this is for Miss Ivy Bishop. Whereas the Jefferson County School System selects just 10 teachers each year as finalists for Teacher of the Year honors. And whereas for the 2021-2022 school year, 3 of the 10 teachers selected were from schools in the Irondale community. Whereas this marks an outstanding achievement for the City of Irondale, our school administrators, teachers, and school support personnel. And whereas having outstanding and exceptional teachers is a victory for all students in the City of Irondale and our community as a whole. And whereas Ivy Bishop, a computer science and math teacher at Shays Valley High School, was named a Jefferson County Teacher of the Year finalist. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, James Douglas Stewart Jr., Mayor of the City of Irondale, issue this proclamation of congratulations and honor Ivy Bishop for her achievement and service to the students in the City of Irondale. In witness whereof I have signed and sealed on the 5th day of April. Ms. Bishop, if you would come to the front. And if you have a few words that you would like to say.
Very few.
Okay, very few, but make sure I give you the check before you leave, because I have a tendency of holding on to the check, but I'll give you the proclamation.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll
This is-
take the
okay.
picture first. And here's the most important.
Most important. Thank you so much. I teach high school, and a lot of times our children think we don't love them, but we do. Even at the high school level, we are blessed to have them, and they are bright and just wonderful. And a lot of days, a lot of times, our job is thankless, and so it's very nice to be thanked. And thank you guys very much.
Is Ms. Mills here? Okay, Ms. Mills. Ms. Mills is a 6th grade math and science teacher at Irondale Middle School, and she was named a Jefferson County Teacher of the Year finalist. Well, let me move over out of, let's move over. Ms. Mills, let's move over a little bit for me. I want to get my good side.
Oh, you're
Here you go, Ms. Mills. Did you want to say anything?
Not really.
Okay, all right. Ms.
Thank you so much. I'll just say that. My principal told me to say that Dr. Dallas is great, so he is great. But thank you very much.
And last but not least, but the winner in the elementary school division, Miss Andrea Riley, who is a kindergarten teacher at Grantswood Community. You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Hold on, I gotta fix my hand.
There you go.
They want you in the picture.
Okay. Come on up here, Miss Bryan. Okay.
She gon'
Where'd the
we
former
didn't know she was
principal?
Miss Fanny.
Come on.
She's my former principal, and then I have my new principal.
I get to hug all you all.
And I have this. Will you hold that? Sure.
Oh,
You
okay.
have it like this?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Well, we're so glad that we're blessed to be able to have them here. We realize that student achievement a lot of time has to do with the teachers that are in the classroom that provide that type of leadership, and I know that it's a very difficult field to be in. My wife is an educator for close to 20 years, so I get to hear all of the different things that you all have to deal with. So I just, again, want to thank you all for your service, let you know that the City of Irondale stand behind you, and anything that we can do to be able to help you along your journey, I just want to let you know that we are here to be able to do that. Now, this is really my last one, you all. I have no more proclamations. I have no more announcements, but I know how it is to run for office. And anytime someone is running for office and they want to come and say a few words, I want to be able to allow them to be able to do that. So I promise you all, I'm not saying this person's name wrong. This is actually their name. And there's a guy in the Senate that's called Rand Paul. Well, tonight we have Paul Rand here that's running for judge. So, Paul, if you would come, I got ready to tell him that joke, and he said, yes, I hear it all the time, Mayor. So I'm going to allow him to be able to speak to you all tonight.
Thanks for having me,
you're
Mayor
welcome.
Stewart. I really appreciate it. Hey, everybody, I'm going to be brief because I know y'all have some important business that you're trying to take care of, but I really am grateful for the opportunity to address you. I'm a big fan of Irondale, and you know, this is a county. I'm running for judge in Jefferson County. I'm running for Circuit Judge Place 16, which is currently held by Judge Teresa Pulliam, who's been a fantastic jurist and community leader for years and years. I had my first jury trial in front of her. I think the world of her, but she's not running for re-election. So it's an open seat. And one thing that I know and that has really been, I mean, I would have guessed this anyway, but it's really been confirmed for me. Everybody, you know, it's not just a Birmingham election. I mean, it's a big county. I mean, you get a sense of how big the county is when you're driving to all parts of it. And I am trying to make a point of getting around and make sure that everybody has a chance to see me and hear from me and put a face with the name. I hope you'll see signs. I hope you'll hear ads and all of that. But it's really a blessing to be able to come here and be in front of y'all. I'm just going to tell you a couple things about me. I'm married. I've got a 10-month-old daughter at home. We live in Southside, really, actually very close to the Prescott House. I drive by it several times a day. I work primarily in the criminal courts, but I have done several things with my legal career. I've worked for the Public Defender's Office. I worked as a law student for the U.S. Attorney's Office in New York and handled all different kinds of, you know, fraud investigations and things of that nature. When I was an attorney in private practice, one of the things that I'm most proud of is that we represented a lot of victims of sexual abuse and human trafficking. And that was incredibly difficult work, but it's something that unfortunately there was a need for, and I'm very proud of the work that my firm did on behalf of those folks. I have also represented defendants in criminal court, and I think that everybody more or less recognizes that our criminal justice system is in a tough spot these days. It's got a lot of challenges, and most of the work that I've done in criminal court is representing people who can't afford an attorney. So I've done work kind of on both sides of cases. I've represented victims, and I'm, as a father and someone who has handled those kinds of cases, I'm very sensitive to the needs of victims and to everyone's totally legitimate concern for public safety. At the same time, I understand the need to be fair and to make sure that our courts are not, you know, that you're not getting something different based on wealth. I think that's really important for judges to have, you know, a really firsthand knowledge of the risks that people are in when they're kind of on their own in this world. So anyway, I ask that y'all consider me the election. I'm a Democrat. I'm running as a Democrat. There is no Republican in the race. So it's a contested primary. The election is on May 24th. And whoever y'all vote for, I ask, and whatever party you're affiliated with, you know, whatever your ideas are about what's best for the community, if you're at a city council meeting, I think, you know, it's pretty clear that you understand the importance of local governance, and local governments. And so I ask you just to be sure and get out and vote. I think that our vote is one of the most precious things that we have as citizens and as community members. And you know, of course, I want you to vote for me, but the most important thing is that you just get out and stick an oar in, because you know, if we don't show up, then we don't have a say. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, every member of the City Council, for your time, and I really appreciate it. Y'all have a blessed evening.
Does that conclude your report, sir?
That is it, Council President. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, that being said, at this time, we would look for any department head reports. I know we have a few with us this evening. Any reports from our department heads? I'm getting a nod in the negative. All right. That being said, we'll go ahead and get into our council member reports and any standing committee reports. I just wanted to say, as far as District 2 goes, always happy to see the repaving that continues to go on. And I know we're working on some things. There has been some citizens that's reached out to me about a safety concern over in the Roebuck Plaza area concerning a gate, and we are actively working through that. So if anybody's watching from the Roebuck Plaza area, I know I've been engaged by several citizens over there. We just need a little bit of time to work through that. So that's all I'm going to say at this time. That concludes my report. Councilman Sims.
First of all, congratulations to the schools and the teachers and the great things they're accomplishing. I've got kids that have been through every school in Irondale and are currently at half of them or more. So it's great to see them being recognized, the teachers being recognized. I got March recycling numbers today. January and February, we were at 39.5% contamination rate. March was 25%, so that's a huge move in the forward. So hopefully we'll keep those contamination rates down. 6:30 next week, next Tuesday, Holiday Gardens Neighborhood Association meeting at the Senior Activity Center. And I think that's all I got.
Okay. Councilman Box.
Yeah, thank you. Just want to thank everybody for coming out. I don't have a report this evening. I'm working on a couple of things, but just getting back off of being out of town, I did not get everything put to bed that I needed to discuss. So
Right.
I'll pass it on. Thank you.
All right. Councilwoman Cuellar.
Yes, one of the things I wanted to check with the rest of the council members, we're looking at trying to come up with a date for an ordinance committee meeting. We have a resolution and that we're gonna be considering tonight, and we'll need to follow up and try to have a date for an ordinance committee meeting. Let's see, in April, I think the 19th, do we have a
Water committee?
water?
We have a water committee. And I meant to
So-
say that, so I apologize, so
Thank
I'm
you.
glad it's coming
No,
up.
that's quite all right, David, thank you. Then the 3rd would be the first Tuesday in May. What do your schedules look like for May the 3rd?
Being a first Tuesday, I'm good with that.
Good.
Sims?
I'm good.
First Tuesday. I'm good. Okay, so is 5 o'clock good?
5 o'clock works for me.
Okay. So May 3rd at 5 PM for an ordinance committee meeting, and we'll be discussing the mini warehouses. If there's anything else that we need to discuss, if you would kindly submit that information to me, we can certainly discuss that in the committee meeting. 2 other things, residents have been asking for an update on the dog park at Eller Park. Do we have an update on that? And also on Ruffner Park? Do we have any updates?
I will, Cindy, I'll have to get with Leanne on both of those items, but as soon as I get with her, I'll shoot you an email to give you that update.
Okay, thank you so much. That's all I have to report.
Thank you. Councilman London.
First of all, good evening, everyone. Just a couple of things. I want to thank Frank and Public Works and Mayor. We have they have put up 2 of our little libraries in the District 1. One is located in Stone Ridge. As you go into the neighborhood, it's right there to the left. And then there's another one located at Rock Ridge on Sunny Park in the green space in Sunny Ridge. Rocky Ridge at Sunny Rock Circle. It's located there. And then we have a third one that's going to come up in Beacon Park, but been talking with Mr. Carter, assistant principal. Raise your hand. I don't think that's so everybody know who you are. Mr. Carter and some citizen in Irondale about putting one up in Beacon Park, but we're gonna make it a real nice deal. We're gonna get some students from the high school. Frank's already showed us how to do it. He's gonna prepare the hole for us, so we won't have to do any digging, and we just put it in there and be ready to go. So we're excited about that. So we'll let you know when that date is coming on that. But thank you, Mr. Carter, for that, getting those kids together. So we'll let you know the date on that. And also, Mr. Dallas, I don't know if you know Mr. Dallas, he's our head principal, I'm sorry, at the middle school. Thank you for coming also tonight. But I have two proclamations that I want to give tonight. Two special people who has been resident of Irondale for a long time and very, very important, play a very important part with our students and with our citizens in Irondale. Mr. Mayor, would you come down? Please come down. Also, you don't want to do. Oh, are you sleepy too? The first one is a friend of mine. When I moved back here 25 years ago, we used to compete in the youth league. Used to coach youth basketball, baseball, and everything. And I just got a proclamation for him. He's just retiring from the school system. 39 years. I got that right. 39 years. And I just want to say how much I appreciate your friendship, first of all, and how important you have been to me, to my family, in our community. So I just want you to come up and have a proclamation for you. I'm gonna get the mayor to read it, since he's good at reading these proclamations.
Should have got some water before I came down here,
read it
but,
for us.
okay, I think I can do it.
You can do it.
I can do it. Whereas Mr. Van Phillips was dedicated his life to serving his community and being a blessing to others. Whereas Mr. Phillips is a resident and active member of the Irondale community. Whereas Mr. Phillips has dedicated his career to educating children, having served as principal at Center Point High School, Irwin High School, Minor Junior High School, and Fairfield High School. And whereas he is also a teacher at Fairfield High School, Forest Hill Middle School, as well as assistant principal at Hueytown High School and Fairfield High School. Whereas Mr. Phillips was recognized as Alabama State Principal of the Year in 2017 and was a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dreamkeeper awardee in 2018. And whereas Mr. Phillips serves as the pastor of the Holy Trinity World Outreach Church, and whereas Mr. Phillips is a proud father of 2 children, Van Jr. and Morgana, and a proud grandfather of 3, Savannah, Van III, and Macy. And whereas he has been a loving and devoting husband to Pamela for 35 years, now therefore be it resolved that you want to say Councilor John London?
Councilman John will be fine.
Councilor John London, along with Mayor James W. Stewart Jr. of the City of Irondale, honor Mr. Phillips for his service and dedication as an outstanding citizen of our city. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Irondale, Alabama, to be affixed this the 5th day of April 2022.
He does a good job reading it. Let me put you in the middle right there.
Yes, I'm gonna be in trouble. I didn't tell my wife.
Yeah, well.
John, you didn't tell her.
I didn't tell you.
Thank you so much.
We got something. That's one of the information.
All right.
All right. We invite them all back.
Well, I'm a pastor, so I gotta say something. And I came down with a sinus infection for the first time in 4 years, but I have thoroughly enjoyed. I've been in Irondale 35 years. And regrettably, we put our house on the market and got a buyer. And when I retired, I wanted to live on the golf course, and they were not putting houses at Pine Tree. So I went to the next closest place. But I did speak to the mayor, and I spoke to John about my impending move, because I have raised my children in the city of Irondale through the park system, and just have been around to see the kids grow and develop. It's been life-changing, and it's touched my life in places I never knew I had. So we just want to just thank the city council president, and all the members of the city council for this time today. And for you, John London, I used to beat him all the time in the games. He didn't have a pretty good record there when he coached against me, but just joking. But we have thoroughly enjoyed our time in Irondale. I am still active in Irondale, although, we've moved to another city right now. We still have vested interest. I still own property in Irondale. So I plan on being around for a while. And you all do not know the leadership capabilities and the leadership skills of the principals in the schools in the city of Irondale is outstanding. I mean, the Board of Education did a great job on the selection of the principals who serve our city. And I just have been in awe of what they have been able to do the last couple of years as they have tried to lead our city forward through the education that we have provided for them through the Jefferson County school system. So I thank you so much for this. My children, Van and Morgan, they are now back in the Birmingham area. Hopefully they're gonna move back to Irondale. Just so you know, Mayor, I did work a deal out. I got 8 lots sold in Cherokee Woods Estates. So we got 5 houses going up. Brandon Brooks, who grew up in Irondale and played at Alabama, now he's a realtor and a broker. He's gotten those lots going, which we've been trying to do for 15 years. He has gotten those lots going, so that means more people coming to Irondale. And I just want to just thank y'all so much. Again, John, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Phillip. Let's talk about it. I mean, his son was a football player at Grambling University, where my daughter graduated. Go Tigers! And his daughter, oh my gosh, 10-time state champions for Sage Valley High School in track, all SEC at Kentucky. So very special family, and the son-in-law of Kristen Wofford, and which his brother plays for the Portland Trailblazers. So all from here in Irondale. So we're so excited about you. But thank you again for your service. This next proclamation for Mr. Robert Crenshaw. And now, Mr. Stewart and I both had the honor of being his council person. You know, this guy has been around a long, long time and has been very influential in what we do as mayor and as city council. So we just want to give you this proclamation and thank you for your service, Mr. Crenshaw.
Thank you also, Mr. Crenshaw. I lived in Stone Ridge for 24 years, and you always made sure we got that dues in on time. Okay. Whereas Mr. Robert Crenshaw has dedicated his life to serving his community and being a blessing to others, whereas Mr. Crenshaw has been a resident of Irondale Stone Ridge neighborhood for 36 years, whereas Mr. Crenshaw has served as treasurer of the Stone Ridge Homeowners Association, as well as a member of the Irondale Park Board, and whereas Mr. Crenshaw currently serves as the chair of the Irondale Zoning Abatement Board and has been a member of the Irondale Chamber of Commerce, and whereas he earned a degree in electrical engineering from Alabama A&M University and served as the president of the Alabama A&M Alumni Society for a number of years, whereas Mr. Crenshaw served 3 years in the United States Air Force, whereas Mr. Crenshaw served as a deacon at his beloved 6th Avenue Baptist Church, whereas Mr. Crenshaw is a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. Okay. I'm sorry. It must be some Kappas in here. So look at them. It's about.
They're all personal.
Okay. Well, I'm non-Greek, so I'll let y'all have it. Y'all can have it tonight. Okay. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that
Councilman London,
along with Mayor James Douglas Stewart Jr. of the City of Irondale, honor Mr. Robert Crenshaw for his service and dedication as an outstanding citizen of our city. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Irondale to be affixed this the 5th day of April 2022. Mr. Robert Crenshaw. We're going to put you in the middle.
put you in the middle.
We'll put you in there with these giants.
Giants right here.
Giants
That's right.
on both sides.
That's right.
All right.
Your daughter
Yeah,
did it?
well, yeah.
Is that your daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. First of all, let me say thank you to the council, to the mayor, and Councilman London, who was my councilman. I didn't expect to get any kind of awards, any kind of recognition for living in Irondale. We just struggled up in Stone Ridge to make it an R1 neighborhood and try to keep it a very presentable community. I have my daughter with me. She went to school here in Irondale, the elementary, and all the way through the school system here. I lost my wife in the end of 2020. So I'm in a new role here as a single person again. So, but it's been a little tough and a little difficult on the family, but we are still hanging in there. And I'd just like to say thank you. All right? All right.
Conclude your report.
Thank you, Mr.
Fair enough.
President.
Thank you, sir. Now that we're through with our council member reports, at this time we look for any reports from any boards or non-council committees with us this evening. Any reports from any boards or non-council committees? Fair enough. All right. We do not have any public hearings this evening, so we will keep moving on to our deliberation on agenda items only. So some housekeeping. We have several items in front of us. I do want to go ahead and, because we rearranged some things around our CDA board interviews and appointments, item under new business number 3, number 4, number 5, and number, sorry, I apologize, 4, 5, and 6.
4, 5,
I got
and
a little
6.
happy there with nixing some resolutions. Item number 4, 5, and 6 will need to come off. All right, so there is that, and there is a 13th item that is not on the agenda that you probably have in front of you as it went. Yes, ma'am.
Actually, 4, 5, and 6 can just be continued to Tuesday night's meeting.
Okay.
Which will be a special meeting.
Okay, fair enough. So you heard legal there, so when we come up to approve the agenda, the form of the agenda, whoever does so, if you could reference that special called council meeting for item number 4, 5, and 6. Continuing on, we have an additional item, which is item number 13. I believe it was printed, but I don't know if it made it to y'all's hands, but it should be in your email. It was a time-sensitive item, so when we get to that, I have it in my email pulled up. I will read that resolution, but I will defer to the mayor to explain the nature of the request. So that being said, as we move through these items, I will be stopping afterwards to see if there's anything that can be going on the consent agenda. That being said, item number 1 that's up for consideration, resolve that resolution 2022 R49 authorizes the allocation of public funds in the amount of $500 to Shades Valley High School from the 2021/2022 fiscal year discretionary fund of councilperson John London to be used exclusively for the Shades Valley Jazz Band. Councilman London, anything you want to add to that resolution?
Yeah, I went to Thompson High School. They played, the jazz band played, and they got perfect scores, I believe. Am I correct on that? They have perfect scores, and they're headed to Jackson, Mississippi next week. And I told the band leader I want to give them something to help feed them, give them lunch or something like that. So that's what this is for.
Perfect. Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
None.
Myself, no questions. Would this be an item that we would be willing to consider
Yes.
consent? I'm seeing nods in the affirmative.
Yes.
Okay. So item number 1 on consent agenda. Item number 2 would be resolved that resolution 2022 R50 authorizes the allocation of public funds from the 2021-2022 fiscal year discretionary fund of councilperson John London in an amount not to exceed $500 to purchase a bench to be placed in the right-of-way of the Stone Ridge subdivision for public use. Councilman London?
Yes, this is where we put the little library, and we told the committee that we'll get a bench sit there if somebody wants to come and get out, maybe walk in the neighborhood and just want to sit and read. They have an opportunity to do that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
None.
And myself, no questions. Would this be an item we'd be willing to put consent agenda? Okay,
Yes.
nods in the affirmative. Item number 3 would be, so when we introduce this, we'll need some names introduced. I know that I'm not available to do this, so just please consider that. I'm not sure if anyone is interested in that. We'll have some open deliberation once we read the item. Resolve that resolution 2022 R51 appoints blank to be voted in, to be the voting delegate and blank as the alternative voting delegate for the city of Irondale at the Alabama League of Municipalities 2021 annual business meeting. I'm assuming that's meant to be 2022 annual business meeting. So that being said, I would open the floor for discussions on who would take point on that, and then who would bring up the backup.
I'd be interested in serving as a delegate.
Councilwoman
I make a
Cuellar.
motion to Councilman Quaylar to serve as the voting delegate.
That being said, before we make the motion, is there anybody else that would like to throw their name in to be considered as the primary delegate? Okay, Councilwoman has expressed her interest. We need a backup delegate. Is anybody willing to serve as a backup delegate?
I would make a motion that Councilman Sims be considered backup if it fits within his
I'd be able to make it.
You would be able to make it? Okay.
Yes, I agree.
That being said, we have two names, if so, so when with that motion is introduced, if it could be introduced accordingly. So we will vote on that since we have to introduce the names there. 4, 5, and 6, once again, we will defer those to our special council meeting next Tuesday at 6 o'clock for that consideration. Item number 7, Resolution 2022 R55 authorizes an extension of the moratorium on many warehouse self-storage companies within the city of Irondale for a period of an additional 3 months. This was I originally introduced this ordinance a while back, and the idea was to get together with zoning board and kind of come up with a plan to address these issues long-term. We have not been able to come up with that conclusion. Councilwoman Cuellar, thank you. I believe this is the resolution that you're referring to in your meeting. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, outstanding. So it sounds like we have a plan to address. So we'll go ahead and vote on that at that time. Let's see here. All right, item number 8, Resolution 2022 R56 declares that certain public property is not needed for public or municipal purposes and directs the disposal of said property by auction. Mr. Frank Pennington brought this forward. It looks like it's a few old automobiles. Councilman London, any questions on this?
No questions.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No question.
Councilman Sims?
None.
And then myself, none. Would this be an item we'd be willing to put on consent?
Yes.
Everybody's nodding in the affirmative. Perfect. All right. Item number 9, resolve the resolution 2022 R57 approves the expenditure of $1,500 for the City of Irondale Young Entrepreneurs Day to be held on April 6th of 2022. Mayor, I know that you gave a little bit of information about this during your report. Do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay. I would just ask for a funding source on this to see if we can approve it as a resolution or if it needs to be
Discretionary.
discretionary. So we have a funding source, so we do not need to put this through the ordinance process. Councilman London, any questions on that?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
I just wanted to make some comments, and that is that I think this is really good for the youth. We're looking at 6th through 12th graders, and some of the examples of some of the youth that were mentioned in the documentation that Mayor Stewart sent us is we have a girl, and certainly not from Irondale, but because of these types of programs, she was 14 when she founded her multi-million-dollar jewelry business at the age of 14. We had another youngster named Fraser Dougherty who's selling hundreds of thousands of jars of jam a year through her business, and she's taking 10% of the market share. And I just think that, these are things that are good, they're positive, they encourage our youth to get involved in business. They have these opportunities. We live in a country where we can dream and we can carry out those dreams, and this is a great way to encourage the youth in our schools. So Mayor, I just want to thank you for this, and
Thank you.
I think it's a great idea.
Thank you. Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
No question.
And myself, no questions there. Would item number 9 be something we'd be willing to put on consent?
Yes.
Nods in the affirmative. All right, perfect. All right. Item number 10, resolve that Resolution 2022 R58 authorizes the execution of a lighting service agreement with Alabama Power for the installation of 2 LED fixtures and ancillary items to the public park located at 3324 Sunny Rock Road. Councilman Lennon, anything to add to this?
Well, this has been discussed, it's been, Kim, long time. We've been talking about this a long time, just to make sure with our city attorneys and with Frank, our public works, and the mayor, just to make sure this is exactly what they want over in the neighborhood, in that green space. And they want this because they have a lot of functions over there, which is excellent. Just tell you a little history about the park. 8 years ago, or maybe 10 years ago now, when I came on council, there was just a green area. We owned it, the city owned it. It was just a green area. And there was 2 young ladies from Shades Valley High School who lived in the neighborhood, came to me and said, Mr. London, what are y'all going to do with that piece of property? So I looked at them and I said, well, what do y'all want to do with it? And they said, well, we want to make it a green space. I said, okay. So, well, we got a group at the high school, and they went back and they designed it. Their group designed the park, and you go by and look at it, and that's exactly what they designed. And Public Works in the city fixed it the way it is. And I'm telling you, I'm so excited because it gets great use for that neighborhood, and they are proud of it. And so I'm just so excited about being able to put some lights and power there for them, because they're always having food trucks and different things out there going on. So Kim, if she want to speak on it, that's fine, but it's awesome.
I just want to say thank you to the city who supported our park so much. We love our park, we love our community, and it's made a big difference for us. And also, we got our book nook, I guess that's what you call it. We got that, and I was at the park yesterday, and there were several people putting books in and taking them out. So thanks to the Arts Council or whoever provided that for us. So anyway, we in Rockridge appreciate the city. We love living here, we love our neighborhood, and we appreciate the support so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
None.
And myself, none. Would we agree to put that on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, nods in the affirmative. All right, item number 11, Resolution 2022 R59 authorizes the approval of the Irondale Easter Egg Experience as a public event, as well as the expenditure of $1,000 for the cost of such event. Mayor, I know you've introduced this already. Anything that you would like to add to that?
No, just want everybody to come out and big, small, old or young, be able to pick up some Easter eggs on
Community
Sunday.
event fund? I'm
Yes,
assuming
yes, it
line
comes
item?
out of my discretionary
Okay,
fund.
gotcha. Thank you. Councilman London, any questions?
Is there going to be a golden egg out there somewhere you hide?
I think so.
No
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No questions.
Councilman Sims?
None.
And myself, none. I know I will be out of town, but I know my girls will be up there. Would we agree to put this on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Nods in the affirmative, okay. All right, item number 12, Resolution 2022 R60 authorizes the allocation of public funds from the 2021-2022 Fiscal Discretionary Fund of Councilperson Robert Box in amount not to exceed $1,700 to purchase a sign to be placed in the right-of-way of Heritage Place subdivision for public use. Councilman Box?
Yeah, this is just a sign that Hampton Place had back when they first were part of the city and the development. It was unclear and couldn't quite find out if the city had actually put it there for them at first with the developer, but it was a request that they made to help identify the subdivision, and they're already running with the ball trying to decorate it up and make that little area. They may even put a bench there. It's not very big, it's about a 60 by 60, but yeah, they're running with the ball and very happy for it.
Nice, well done.
Thank you.
Councilman Lennon, any questions?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
No questions.
Councilman Box, any additions?
No, sir.
Councilman Sims?
No questions.
And myself, no questions. Would this be something we would agree to put on consent?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then one moment. All right, item number 13, resolve that Resolution 2022 R61 authorizes the execution of a communications solution agreement with Spectrum Enterprise for the installation of digital infrastructure located at 1801 Crestwood Boulevard, Irondale, Alabama, for the Water Department. Mayor, if you could give us a little bit more information on this.
Yes, we are moving our water department from Grants Mill Station to the old PNC Bank. We want to open May, whatever the first day of Monday is in May, we want to be able to open up to be able to do that. Currently, we're trying to move simultaneously everything from up there that needs to go in the PNC building so that they don't skip a beat when they get down there to start working, and internet service, VPN service to be able to send information back and forth to the bank, allow customers to be able to pay the bill online. All of those things are needed to have that to continue when we move to the new building without having customer interruptions. So that's why we're putting it on the agenda tonight for you all to consider adopting the resolution.
And I didn't have a chance to look at any supporting material. Was there a not to exceed amounts? Do we have an estimate for that, Mayor?
I think there's a monthly charge of, Lee, you can correct me as I'm wrong, but it's $600 or something.
Okay.
Over a 3-year, 4-year period. That's what the contract is for.
Okay. Fiber internet, 100 megawatts, 21. Sales price $625, 48 months, I believe?
Yes.
And will that come out of the water department's budget?
It will.
Okay, so we have a funding.
It's
source.
already coming out of their budget anyway. It's just.
We're just moving it.
Just moving it to.
Okay.
And since it's a new service, that's why we brought it before the council.
Copy that. Thank you very much. I'll just allow a moment for review.
I got it. It's on my agenda.
Thank you. Councilman London, any questions
No
around
question.
this?
No question.
Councilwoman Cuellar, any questions?
No questions.
Councilman Box?
No, I'm clear, thank you.
Councilman Sims?
I'm good, thanks.
Okay, and myself, I'm good as well. Would this be an item, since we have a budgeting source, that we would be willing to put on consent?
Yes.
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 Not- Yes, okay. Item number 13 on consent. All right, so for a quick review, we have agreed to put item number 1, item number 2, item number 8, item number 9, item number 10, 11, 12, and 13 on consent. Item number 4, 5, and 6 to be postponed until our special called council meeting, which would be at 6 o'clock next Tuesday. The date escapes me, but next Tuesday, the 12th. Thank you, Councilman Sims. And we would vote on item number 3 and item number 7. That being said, I would look for the approval of I would look for a motion for the approval of the form of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the form of the agenda as presented.
Thank
Second.
you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. At this time, we would accept any public comments on the agenda items only. Public comments on agenda items only. These would be the items that we just deliberated. No comments? At this time, I would accept a motion for an approval of the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda with items number 1, 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. 12 and 13, excuse me.
12 and 13. We have a motion and a second. Go ahead and we'll do a roll call. Councilman London?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cuellar?
Yes.
Councilman Box?
Yes.
Councilman Sims?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Okay. That being said, we will go ahead and move down to what was item number 3. I would accept a motion as deliberated.
Make a motion that resolution 2022 R51 appoint Councilwoman Cindy Cuellar to be the voting delegate and Councilman Aaron Sims as the alternate voting delegate for the City of Irondale at the Alabama League of Municipalities 2022 annual business meeting.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. That being said, we move down to item number 7. We have a motion, please.
Make a motion that resolution 2022 R-55 be approved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed. All right. That being said, that finishes our agenda. At this time, we would accept any public comments to the council on non-agenda items. So these would be the items that we did not deliberate. Any comments on non-agenda items? Yes, ma'am. As always, please state your name and address.
Francesca Roscoe, 5018 Janet Lane. And I'm just coming forward as a concerned citizen. Now that the city of Birmingham has pulled the plug on the Econo Lodge, pulled their business license, just as a, I guess, nosy concerned citizen, I've noticed an uptick in the traffic at the Red Roof Inn. And I don't see the police chief here this evening, but I think we need to, just as a safety concern for the city, to monitor that activity over there, because especially since I-20 has been designated as a main human trafficking thoroughfare. And, you know, I'm sure we don't want that type of activity here in the city. So I'm just coming before you all to let you know that I have observed some uptick in the traffic at the Red Roof Inn, and I think we need to get ahead of whatever's going on over there.
Copy that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Just to piggyback on, ma'am, what you just said, I'm the court administrator. They are keeping track of that. I get reports every day, so they are watching that, especially at nighttime. They've had several arrests over there from the Red Roof Inn, so they're paying attention to it.
Thank you for addressing her concern. Any other comments to the council on non-agenda items? Okay. We do not have an executive session this evening, so at this time I would call for a motion to adjourn.
Just one comment.
Yes, sir.
Human trafficking is already here in Irondale.
Oh, yeah.
So just want to make clear that it's already here. We just want to be vigilant about it. Yeah, but I motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone, for coming out and joining this evening. Have a good rest of your night, and as severe weather moves through our area tomorrow, please be safe.